Feel the Ad Love, a podcast produced by Radio Lounge featuring conversations with people in our industry who make advertising and marketing impactful and fun. Their stories take you behind the scenes on a variety of advertising platforms where we explore current trends and topics. And just so you know, Radio Lounge is a destination for audio production services for broadcast, film, on-location audio experiences, and digital media. We also offer podcast training, production, and distribution through our new podcast studios. Voice coaching, production of high-end voice talent demos. Bottom line, every day is a new adventure in sound here at Radio Lounge. Drop by for a virtual visit anytime. RadioLoungeUSA.com is our address. We have some good friends in the industry, and these folks are just plain out good people doing amazing things in Fort Bend and in the Houston area. East Fort Bend Human Needs Ministries is a charitable organization comprised of an interfaith alliance that seeks to serve God by serving the basic needs of persons in East Fort Bend County. I'm just going to go through your mission real quick here. The mission to address the basic human needs of persons in temporary financial crisis in East Fort Bend. And the organization believes faith is expressed in caring for the poor, the homeless, and all who have no access to the abundant resources our society possesses. I couldn't think of a better way to describe the state that we're in right now. This world has been shaken by this virus, and in many ways, in a good way. And I want to get to that in just a minute. Vicki Coates is the executive director of East Fort Bend Human Needs Ministry. Stacey Williams, development director of East Fort Bend. And traditionally, what we do is an annual event called Empty Bowls, and it raises a lot of money for this incredible organization that does so many different things. First of all, guys, I'm watching you on screen. We're not going to be able to see your faces as we do the podcast because it's an audio-only podcast. But you guys are doing your part and you're together, but you're covered. You have gloves on. You have the Lysol in the background. I like that. Welcome. And you know, the best thing about this, I'm seeing smiling faces underneath those masks. And I think that's wonderful. I see that in your eyes. So guys, welcome to the podcast. And first of all, on a family note, how you guys doing? How are things going?
Things are going good. Yeah, things are going good. All the family is so far so good, healthy, and we're just hanging in there day by day, Ray, day by day.
East Fort Bend Human Needs Ministries does so many different things. The food pantry, the Tri-City Church's resale shop, and so much. And I want to find out, guys, let's go through the various aspects of not only the Empty Bowls event and how you've amended that so that it can still happen, because it has to happen. It needs to happen. But let's talk first. Let's talk about the food pantry first, okay? How are things going there today? And what have you guys done to respond to this crisis?
Well, what we've done to respond to the crisis, Ray, is we've instituted a drive-through food pantry where we're open. We're doing it 3 days a week from 10 to 12 on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And so we're serving everybody in the community. You know, normally we serve the east side of Fort Bend County, but anybody that drives through our food pantry is getting an order of food. Typically, we've been able to have like eggs and milk and meat and non-perishable. We don't always have the eggs and the milk, but we typically have some meat and some fresh fruits and vegetables and bread and sweets. And they're getting quite a bit of food, you know, to get them through 3 or 4 days. So we have them line up. We have a policeman out here for traffic control. They pull up and we have like what do you call that line of like a procession line? Yeah. We have people taking different items to their cars and walking around. So nobody's actually getting out of the car. Mm-hmm. And so we've been blessed to do that. But I tell you, our numbers, we'll tell you about in a few minutes, have been staggering. I mean, typically we serve, 30, maybe 40 families a day between full food orders and supplementals. And we have been averaging how many families a day, Stacey?
Probably about 200 families a day.
Whoa. Wow. That's a lot of output. So you've got the output way up, but how about the input? How are things going on the receiving end of that as well? I'm sure the need is up there too.
The need is great. We were blessed with, our food drives before the event, the Super Bowl of Caring. actually, we've been working from our inventory. And then on Saturday, the Ishmaeli Center had a big food drive for us, and we got 10 pallets of food. And, you know, we're not getting a whole lot of food in now because people, first of all, can't get to the grocery store to get it. And what we need, it's not on the shelves. So, we've been making do with what we have, but we've been very blessed. And so we're just, continuing every day to give families food. So we know that once this is all over, we'll need funds to restock our shelves and stuff. But we've been fortunate that we've been able to help everybody. We've not had to turn anybody away or anything. So, East Fort Bend Human Needs Ministry is celebrating our 30th anniversary this year.
Congratulations.
In July, we have been serving the community for 30 years, and God's willing, we'll be here for the next 30 years serving the community. So we're hanging in there.
I know you are. You guys do such a wonderful job. And one note that I need to make sure that we contact at least Sugarland first and let them know what you guys are doing. That would be a good thing for those folks to know too. The church service is not on a stream.
We've been in contact with Jimmy Fenwick, the director of missions there at Sugarland First United Methodist, and they actually did a no contact drop off, I believe, about 2 weeks ago. And that Monday morning, he brought over a truckload of food.
Wow.
That was donated. So our coalition churches are continuing to donate. I know Christ Church, they have had food dropped off, and the community gardens. Luckily, we've had some really nice weather, and people are still wanting to go outside. So the community gardens have been continue to be harvested and dropped off. So we are able to keep up with some fresh produce for all of these baskets, which is wonderful.
Yeah, and we've been blessed with financial contributions as well from our coalition churches and from the community. So, God is good, Ray. God is good.
Yeah.
So,
and God has placed you exactly where you need to be right now, and that's a really great thing. I think there's a real downside to what's going on right now, but there's also a huge upside to this whole thing. It's getting people thinking and behaving differently, and hopefully, maybe, just maybe, all of us, this world will come out a little bit stronger and a little bit more faithful than it was in the beginning. And I'm hoping that this catches some folks' attention who might have discounted all of these good things that go on. I'm very happy that you guys pursue this. We all pursue things in life, and you'll agree with me here. I know we pursue things. People go to their jobs and they work and they make money and they put food on the table and whatever they need. But there are some places that make a difference in this world, and East Fort Bend Human Needs Ministries is one of those places. You are there for a purpose. You are doing incredible things. So if you're listening to this podcast and you don't, you're not familiar, you don't go to one of the churches that works with East Fort Bend, you got to go to the website and you've got to find out more about how you can help at this point in time. And I also understand, by the way, getting off the food thing, I also understand that the Tri-City once again accepting donations as well.
Well, Ray, we've had our doors closed for 5 weeks next door at Tri-City, which is a big income generator for us. So that's really been a challenge for us, not being able to have accept the donations and stuff. But we're probably in the next week or so going to sit down and figure out how we'll do donations. We're prepared for them now. What's been a blessing is the staff at the resale shop has actually been working the back, has been working the drive-through food pantry. So we've had them over here working for a few hours, and then they'll go work at the shop. But they've been preparing the shop to our shed out back to take donations. We've had the carpets cleaned. We've had the shop sanitized. In there organizing, getting things ready. So hopefully within the next week or so, we will be open for business. We're excited about that. we've just been blessed to have the staff over there helping us, because, our volunteer base has pretty much been non-existent. There's been our core group of volunteers has been here every day, Ray, working very hard and very dedicated. The warehouse people, the people putting the food together, we couldn't do it without them. We are a volunteer-driven organization. And so we've been very, very blessed with our volunteers. So we'll be ready for the shop. We're going to sit down tomorrow and kind of have a strategic planning on how we're going to go about accepting donations and opening up again. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, go ahead, Stacy.
Yeah, we're going to do curbside donations tomorrow, correct? On Wednesday?
Yeah, we're looking at doing no contact curbside pickups.
So we're asking if any of y'all are out there listening about how to donate. It's on our Facebook page. Our resale shop manager has been updating that. But we will have the donors drop it off on our curb. We're trying to make it no contact as much as possible. And we do ask that all of your donations be boxed up or in a bag, so we're not touching the actual items, because we are going to take those and we are going to quarantine them in our shed for the proper amount of time before we bring them in and have volunteers touching them and working with that. So that's how we're going to start our first week of donations.
Yeah, and Governor Abbott had just come out with some changes as well this past week. And speaking of tomorrow, Stacy is speaking of tomorrow, which is the 29th of April. We're recording this on the 28th, so just in case you hear this, do not relate that it's tomorrow. Tomorrow, it's the 29th of April. But the fact of the matter is, it's still happening, and that's a good thing. The Fort Manatee Bowls event has always been a very successful operation, and you recently transitioned from Safari, Texas, to the Floor facility, which is absolutely phenomenal for your growing base of fans and supporters for that event. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. It was supposed to be Friday, March 27th at Floor, and but it's still happening because there are things going on right now. You have Stacy, talk about this. You have an online process, and that's how you're raising money. How is that going? Tell us what's happening.
It's going really well. So we just finished our second week of a virtual online auction. We were moving towards doing an online auction at the event. The items would be there, but all the bidding would be online, which is it's the next step in the nonprofit world, and everybody's moving towards that. So we've done 2 weeks so far. We're looking at taking maybe a week or two off just to kind of see with everything opening back up, because we do have a primitive date in at the end of August to make the event actually happen.
Beautiful.
So we still have plenty of auction items for when the event actually happens. Okay. But for the past 2 weeks, we raised $7,900, I believe, $7,900 through about 40 auction items. So it was pretty successful.
Good for you. So that's carrying on, and talk about the potential extended date of the event. What did you say it was in September? Is that right?
It's at the end of August. Yes, sir. At the end of August, we're still going to be at Fleur. As long as they'll have us. They've been such gracious hosts in letting us change the dates and everything. They've worked really well with us. But yes, we are looking at the end of August, and we're going to get some information put out there soon. Kind of waiting to see how the next 2 weeks go as we kind of slowly open back up the state to see, honestly, if people would even be comfortable attending such a large event. But at the event, we will have all of our hand-painted soup bowls that have been painted throughout from community members throughout the year. We will have a silent auction with some items. Also, our hand-painted, handcrafted bowls from our bowl committee will be on a silent auction. And we will have our wine and whiskey pool and a live auction. So as soon as we can have the event, we definitely will, because that's going to, like you said, it is our biggest fundraiser of the year. Last year's event raised over $190,000. So that's a huge amount of income that, we rely on here.
Yeah.
Luckily, before the event got postponed, we were already over $100,000.
Beautiful.
And all of our sponsors and all of our ticket holders obviously completely understood. And we'll be honoring their sponsorships and their tickets. And whenever we can finally all get together and have a big party.
Hey guys, why is something like this a good thing for our world? What's your perspective? We talked about that before. What's the upside to a COVID-19? We know the downside. What's the
Well,
upside, Vicki?
I the upside for me is how you can change the way you do business. I mean, who would have ever thought we would have had a drive-through food pantry? We've made it work. Another thing that we've made work that we're really proud of is we've been doing our remote online financial assistance. Typically we have our clients come in on Wednesday and we do the interview process and then work with them. Well, we've changed our policies. We're still making the appointments, but we have volunteers at home each day of the week that we can email information to them, and they'll call the client, interview them via phone, and then send the stuff back to us. So you just kind of have to, go with the flow. The only thing in this world that's constant is change. So it might take a couple of weeks to get it all figured out, but we've been able to do that. And we think that we're doing a really good job with that. And who would have ever thought, and we're looking at possibly keeping it that way afterwards for clients that actually can't physically come into the building. So we're pleased with the way that it's worked out, and we're pleased with our financial screeners, the way that they've stepped up and embraced this process.
You guys have adapted well. What about you, Stacy? What the upside of this whole thing for you personally, and on behalf of East Fork Bend?
Well, it's a great question because, as a development director, my job is to get our name out there, tell people what we do, and bring in funds. And during this pandemic, it really has been a godsend, the amount of financial donations we've received, because like you said in our mission, it's to address the basic human needs of people in Fort Bend County. And sometimes working at a food pantry doesn't sound as glamorous as other jobs, but it's a basic need. Everybody needs food to survive. And so as the unemployment rate rises and people aren't able to get to the grocery stores and do those types of things, I think people really realize food is a basic need, and we need to continue to help our neighbors with that basic need of just eating, So I think that for us, I think it's been a great thing because people see how essential East Fort Bend is in the area. So I'm honestly, I'm very thankful to be an essential worker right now.
And Ray too, the number of new faces that we've seen. I mean, it touches your heart. I've always been emotional about the number of families that we see, and we make sure that, we do our best to make sure that nobody goes hungry. But people, driving up telling us it's the very first time they've had to ask for food, and you just never know what your neighbor's going through. So I'm glad that we're here, that we can offer some comfort in families knowing that they can have food,
Yeah, and that's a great way to put it. Thank you for both of those commentaries. I totally agree with you. Backing up here just a moment, how can folks help right now? Now, I know tomorrow, the 29th, will be a drive-through food thing, but what can folks do who are listening to this right now to help you guys today?
Well, tomorrow is Wednesday, and we don't do drive-through on Wednesday. It's Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Okay.
But financial contributions, and keep a lookout for our resale shop, because once we open the doors, we have beautiful items that have been sitting over there. As you know, you've been to our shop. I mean,
Sure.
it's just amazing, the things that we have. So to get the word out about when we can open back up and donations, and then just getting, people to shop.
Yeah. And I would say right now, financial contributions, because we are going to have to restock those shelves. They're dwindling down quickly. You can go on our website, and that's www.humanneeds.org. We have a donate now button, and you can donate directly to us. We get it right away. You can always throw a check in the mail as well. Follow us on Facebook. That is a huge outlet for us. I control our Facebook, and that's where I update everybody in the public with those numbers of how many people we served, photos of our fun volunteers having a good time helping serve the community. And I mean, I feel like that's the best way you can just get involved and get knowledgeable of what we do. So if you feel called to make those types of contributions, that's how you can.
And so, Ray, real quick, can I have tell you that since March the 16th, we have served 2,805 families, which includes 7,837 adults, 5,753 children, totaling 13,592 individuals since March the 16th.
Wow. Moving ahead with purpose is what you guys are all about, and fulfilling a need and doing it well. Just curious, what do things look like? Both of you think as we move out of this time of crisis, are things going to go back to the way they used to be, or have we really changed our world here?
I think we've changed. I think people are going to be more conscientious of personal space for people, maybe a little bit more tolerant of individuals. I mean, that's my hope for this. And, that we can come together as a community and help each other. It's not just about me, and I need everything when I need it, that, and hopefully people will see with this hurricane season coming up that you don't have to go buy every bottle of water in the store, and you don't have to buy all of that stuff, because people don't realize that people living on a fixed income or people on food stamps, they don't have this endless supply of money where they can run to the store. Their food stamps come in at certain times of the month. And when they go to the store and there's nothing there for them, So I'm hoping that people will be more thoughtful and considerate is my hope.
I think that hope will be fulfilled. I think we are a changed world here. And you guys are doing such a great job, as always, especially during this time. I think the numbers are phenomenal, considering the folks that you've helped since early March as well. So my wish for you guys is to stay as you are, positive and hopeful and smart, and run a great organization. Vicki Coates, the Executive Director of East Fort Bend Human Needs Ministries, Stacy Williams, Development Director of East Fort Bend. These are good people and an amazing effort that is happening right now, and it happens all year round. Look for maybe a new iteration of Fort Bend Empty Bowls to happen here at the end of August, early September. But in the meantime, take advantage of the online auctions and the ability to donate and give, and find out the times that they're going to make drive-through donations and such available, and also find out with the new rules put in place by our governor, that maybe the Tri-Cities Churches resale shop will be opening again soon for folks to come by. But if you're thinking about how you can help, this is the place to do it, and this is the way to do it. Guys, congratulations on continuing to do amazing things for this area and for the people here. You are very important, and so is your mission. But thanks for being here.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you so much. Stay safe.
So there you have it. East Fort Bend Human Needs Ministries, an important mission here in the Fort Bend area. and in life in general. So we thank Stacy and Vicki for talking to us today. Thanks for listening, by the way, to Feel the Ad Love. Visit us at RadioLoungeUSA.com. Subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast platform like iTunes or Spotify or Google. Do that. You will never miss a new podcast. Your rating on iTunes are also going to help us grow. Don't be afraid to share what you've heard today on social media, too. Until next time, come to the lounge and feel the ad love. Copyright